What's going on, everyone? This is Dwayne here with our Figure the podcast, and today's guest is Trey Singleton. He is the founder of the Urban Mentoring Academy. Trey is originally from Savannah's West Side community, Carver Village to be exact. And the Urban Mentoring Academy of Savannah focuses on mentoring young male youths from the age from 6th to 12th grade or whatever. And the Urban Mentoring Academy of Savannah provides life skills training, particularly in a lot of areas. Some of those areas that the group focuses on is hands-on skills, film and media. They have a music department. They have a financial department, IT department, marketing department, and political apprentice. And that's just a few of the programs that they offer. But like I said, today's special guest is Brother Trey Singleton. How's everything going for you today, sir?
All is well, champion. Glad to be here, my brother. Thank you so very much for allowing me to grace your platform.
Man, thank you very much. And I want to send a special shout out to George Seaborough. He recommended you. He's like, man, Trey, would be very good to have on your podcast. And he's doing great and phenomenal things down here in Savannah. And so, I know it took me a while. He introduced us about a month ago or whatever, and I recently got back with you. I'm a little slow with stuff, but I come back around. I come back around. All right.
It's all good.
Yes, sir. So Trey, if you don't mind, just telling us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, where you grew up, and then education-wise, and then what got you started, or what was the impetus of starting the Urban Mentoring Academy?
All right. Thank you so very much once again. My name is Brother Trey Singleton from Savannah, Georgia. Have very close ties to Ludwig, Georgia as well.
Okay.
That's my mother's side, and my father's side is Savannah.
Okay.
So Southeast Georgia, brother. That's all.
Gotcha.
A Gullah Geechee man.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say that I got into mentoring early, probably about a little over 20 years ago.
Okay.
I went into the military, 1999, 2000. I was coming out of high school. Even in high school, I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
Right.
But I didn't think I was going to go to college and all that good stuff to be a teacher. Right. So when I got out of high school, I went straight into the military at 17 years old. So by the time I'm 19, I had an opportunity to partner with an organization called Learning for Life.
Okay.
So as a service member, I was able to leave work, go to a school, and I would teach a curriculum that they already had in place. Right?
Okay.
So I would go to Beach High School. I would go to Garden City Elementary, Thunderbolt Elementary, Windsor Forest High School, these different schools, and I would teach these different curriculums. So I was pretty good at it, man. The kids respected me. I had a good time. And then it was when I would be out in the streets and one of the kids see me, and they show me that due respect because I came in and taught their class, right? So that was the wow factor once they recognized me in the community.
Right.
So years passed, and I was always working with some group, different organizations, boy mentor programs, the Frank Callen Boys and Girls Clubs, things of that nature. But as I was working with all of them, I was learning what I needed to learn. Mm-hmm. And then I also saw things that could have been better, that wasn't realistic. It just wasn't realistic. They had these programs in place, but you may only see the kid once a month. Right. And then you're trying to get them to do one specific thing.
Right.
And it just didn't work out. So unless it's sports, it's hard to have a mentor program that's not athletic. So then maybe around 2016, 15, 16, there was a large spike in violence with our young people in Savannah. Mm-hmm. So during this time, I started getting back into mentoring heavy again. And a partner, a friend of mine, he saw what I was doing, so he wanted to mentor too. So we were at Frank Callan Boys and Girls Club. Then we went over to the West Broad YMCA. And there we met a gentleman by the name of Montre. He had a group called Ironman.
Okay.
So we mentored with him for a moment at the Y, and we had it jumping
Right.
yeah, like we really had these. If you look at my Facebook page, if you go to our Facebook page, Urban Mentoring Academy of Savannah on Facebook, our profile picture is the beginning, right? So
Okay.
you can see all these kids actually in the classroom, and we're actually teaching them math after school. And these
Right.
were kids that were 15, 16, 17 years old. When we pretty much knew they just want, and you're competing with a gym in the next room.
Right.
So you walk out of that classroom, make a right, it's a gym. So they could play basketball all day. But they chose to be in there with us.
Right. So how did you compete with that? Yeah. All right. So all right. I didn't mean to cut you out there because I was about to ask
So,
how do you compete with the gym? Because we love to play basketball.
well, I think they just saw somebody who was real,
Right.
who wasn't, I wasn't putting on no airs or
Right.
anything like that. We coming straight off work. And at that time I was working for the city of Savannah.
Right.
And I got on a City of Savannah shirt, you know what I
Right.
mean? Some work boots.
Gotcha.
And they knew on this day this is what we're coming to do. So to dive a little deeper into that question, I always knew it had to be something mechanical or physical that these kids had to participate
Right.
in. So we said we was gonna bring carpentry to the game.
Okay.
So me and my partner, we bought some materials and boom, we built a doghouse
Okay.
in the back of the Y boat. We showed them how to now here get a hammer. Here, let me
Right.
show you these nails. Here, let me show you what a saw does.
Right.
Right. And we didn't just pull out power tools, right? We took it old school saw, put some
Oh
muscle
wow.
into it. Yeah. So we want to raise our young people to have the basics,
Right.
not have it so simple where they don't know how to go back in time,
Gotcha.
right? So everything that our kids do right now is so futuristic. They don't know how to go back in time. So put a saw in front of a young man right now, he wouldn't know what to do with it,
That's true.
right?
That's
You
true.
get a hammer and nails, take them to a board, and see how many times it take him to knock that nail through,
Gotcha. All right.
right?
Mhm.
So
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
now, you said you had them building a doghouse or whatever. So did you yourself? Did you know how to build with these skills that you had? So you did. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Zero skills.
Right.
So my partner, his name is Kwame.
Mm-hmm.
Kwame is the most talented man I ever met in my life,
Mm-hmm.
hands down. He is the most talented man I ever met in my life. He is a carpenter. He
Mm-hmm.
is a barber.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pilot.
Wow.
Um, he's an engineer. Uh, like this dude he's everything. Like he could do it
Right.
all, right?
Right.
So a lot of the things that we said we were going to teach the kids was based off of his skills. It was my
Gotcha.
job to put everything in motion. You
Gotcha.
see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Right.
So because of his skill set, that's where the doghouse came
Okay.
from, right? But the music came from him being from Louisiana, and
Mm-hmm.
my father's family
Mm-hmm.
being from the United House of Prayer for all
Okay.
people, right?
Gotcha.
So I'm used to the shout band.
Right.
I know what those horns and those percussion sound
Right.
like. He's from Louisiana, so he got the second line.
Right.
It's similar sounds.
Right.
So we came together and said, okay, let's crank up some music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't have any community bands in Savannah.
Right.
So we said let's do it. Let's just create one. So we just started buying instruments, and so it was just we only deal in horns and percussions, no saxophones, flutes, none of that.
Right.
Just trumpets, trombones, tubas, sousaphones,
All
and a
right. And
drum
so
line.
So when you started buying instruments, you're buying these instruments using the money out of your own pockets, no sponsor or anything. You just like, hey, you just going like to a pawn shop somewhere. Hey, look and see if they have
Right.
some instruments and just getting what you can get.
Right.
Yeah.
So this 2017, so Craigslist was still cool.
Right.
So we so we was going on Craigslist, me and my partner, or we'll go on eBay.
Right.
And we'll see some bass drums or set of bass drums for sale. So, and it probably cost us $700.
Right.
So either he paid for it up front and I shot him some money back,
Right.
or a lot of times he bought some of the equipment and just said, "Hey, we're gonna do this." Right. And
Right.
I may see a trumpet somewhere in the pawn shop, I buy it.
Right.
We,
Okay.
but what happened was he and I had a common interest. We had a goal. So
Okay.
now anytime we saw instruments, we was going for it until we
Right.
built enough instruments up. And people donated as well.
Okay. Okay. So you got started with the band or whatever. So what happened? So what was the next I guess program or next the next program that you instituted into the early beginnings of the academy or whatever after the drum?
So then we met a young lady by the name of Abby. Abby was a professor at Georgia Southern University.
Mm-hmm.
Abby came in and she offered us an opportunity to do a documentary.
Wow.
So I think the end of 2017 to 2019, Abby was with us. So we created a film class, right? So
Okay.
as she did the documentary, she's also teaching what it is that we're doing, right?
Wow.
And we set the classes up like every Monday
Mm-hmm.
is the day she could come in and film. So every Monday was her class. She'll
Okay.
get a little bit of footage. We'll knock that out. Now we're breaking down what took place.
Right.
So that took place for about a year and a half. And so that's what instituted the film program. So now Savannah being a film destination,
Mm-hmm.
we want to introduce it to our kids now so they'll have some knowledge of it. There's a film studio 2 miles down the street from our community center. The
Mm-hmm.
kids don't know it's a film studio back
Right.
there. You
So
see what I'm saying? So we have
right.
to introduce it to them early.
So I didn't even know Savannah had a film studio. All
Right,
right. So the studios are coming to Savannah and they're building.
right. So it belongs to the Savannah College of Art and Design.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
But at the end of the day, it still
It's still a
exists.
studio.
It's
Right.
right around the corner. So why
Right.
not take them on a tour and get them more interested in film? Some of them not interested because it's just not a large conversation in our community.
Right. So in the early beginning, so you and Kwame, and then you meet the professor, whatever, and you're holding these classes. Now, where are you holding and conducting the mentoring sessions? Where are you doing this? Like, where at? Do you have a building? Where are you meeting, and how are you? And about how many guys do you have coming at this point?
So we started out, as I stated, at the West Broad YMCA.
Right.
There was some a disagreement that took place, so to
Right.
speak, with one of the partners and the management. And
Okay.
so one of uh, the grant of the students, she was the supervisor at a community center, Moses Jackson Community Center. So she said, "Hey, I have empty space over here at the building. Bring your program over here." So we
Okay.
went over to Moses Jackson. So that developed into a great relationship between Urban Mentoring Academy and the City of Savannah Recreation
Okay.
Department. So
Right.
we've been partnered now for about 5 years. I've
Okay.
been, partnered with the City of Savannah Recreation Department. And now over the past 2 years, I've been partnered with the mayor's office and the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement.
Okay. So it sounds like along
Excuse
the
me, I'm sorry.
way. Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. So it sounds like along the way while you're building the program, you're building these relationships, and I guess how are you? you're meeting these new people or whatever, are you just being introduced to them as someone like, hey, I think just like I was introduced to you through George or whatever, was people just like, hey, Trey, I think you need to talk to such and such. They can get you, might be able to get you what you need to get going, or to get your space or whatever. So is that how?
So yeah, I think that once you're doing things organically,
Mm-hmm.
then everybody's going to come into your atmosphere, right?
Right,
Those type of that your energy is going to pick up on people who want to support you and the good causes and the good works that you're performing.
right.
So because it's organic work, we ran into a lot of people in the community who came in and uh, we would partner depending on what their skill set was,
Okay.
right? So uh, I may have an engineering class, but
Mm-hmm.
this is a brother that I met who worked at Gulfstream,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he wanted to teach a class for 4 months, um, and he would teach every other week, right?
Okay.
So 2 days a month, 4 hours a month for 4 months. So he's going to get 16 hours of mentoring service,
Right.
right? And now he's introduced the kids to Gulfstream, some
Mm-hmm.
ideology of Gulfstream, but he's
Right.
also introducing them into his career field.
Right.
Um, the same thing with uh, health and wellness.
Right.
A sister, she's my friend. We've been friends now for about 6 years. Her name is Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday has been teaching health and wellness for a very long time for us. And then
Right.
she finally had to move on with life, but she's still a team member at the end of the day. So the different people that we meet, they may come and mentor, but we give them just a few hours to speak about their craft. And
Okay.
that's how we gain our mentors. We don't really look for people to just say, "Hey, I want to hang out with a kid." No, you got
Right.
to come and teach us. You got to come and teach a skill set.
Okay then. Okay then. So, all right. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding everything correctly. So you might have someone who's interested in being a mentor, but
Hmm.
and they might be in different fields, and you bring them in, and they actually have to teach I
Right,
guess a curriculum or a skill set for a certain set of
right,
time or whatever. Okay. Now,
indeed.
Now, as far as the mentees, how are the mentees? I guess do you just let them know, hey, we got a new program coming along? Do you want to, you have them register for it, or is there a selection process, or do you direct them?
Great,
Mhm.
great question. So, for instance, let me back it up, and this may be a little bit more ideal to break down. So,
Okay.
currently right now, we meet 4 days a week in the afternoon after school from 4:30 to 7 o'clock.
Hmm.
On Mondays, we're teaching film, right?
Okay.
So now the kids know every Monday they got a film class. If
Right.
you want to show up, you're showing up because you want to learn
Right.
film. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, because music is a huge attraction for us, we
Right.
have our band class.
Hmm.
And then we skip Thursdays, and then on Fridays we have our literacy class.
Okay.
Literacy is a huge problem in our community, so
Yes.
that's what we're always going to have that as a focus. So every Friday, our kids will come in and get their tutoring. We'll
Mm-hmm.
go over some whatever literacy application we're using at that time,
Hmm.
and we also have our spelling bee um,
Okay.
that they're practicing for throughout the semester. And
Right.
a semester is 4 months for us, right?
Right.
So as a person volunteers, they're volunteering for those days that I just
Hmm.
called out. So the music instructor is always going to come in on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Hmm.
They don't have to come in on Monday and Friday,
Right.
right? But now the film instructor doesn't have to come in the rest of the week. They just come in on Mondays.
Okay.
I'm always going to be there. You
Okay.
see what you see what I'm saying? So um, all of these people are my partners in their
Mhm.
respective stations.
Right.
And so that's how we break that down. Now, let's say because I don't meet on a Thursday, I
Hmm.
meet somebody next week
Hmm.
and we vibe out
Right.
and they say, "Hey, I want to teach barbering."
Right.
Okay. Actually, I take that back. I just spoke to a sister and she wants to teach STEM.
Okay.
So instead of her trying to go find a building, go find kids, go dot, 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 dot,
Right.
I've already supplied this for you, and
Right.
I can supply a Thursday. Will Thursday work for you? If
Right.
she says yes,
Hmm.
now our organization is 5 days a week,
Right.
right? So when you're selling your program to um, whomever it may be, the school board, the county, the city, whomever,
Hmm.
um, you want those individuals to know, or those entities to know, that you're putting in X amount of time with these young people on a
Hmm.
consistent basis. And you also have to know, when is the crime rate high for young people between 6th to 12th grade. And that
Hmm.
crime rate time during the day is between 3 and 7 o'clock. So we're trying to supply and demand. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? Yeah,
So it seems like you're really being strategic in when you're offering the classes, because you're offering the classes during the times, I guess, when I guess crime rates could be high for our kids or whatever. So
right.
you're keeping them off the streets. So
Yes,
at least we know, hey, when stuff could be going on, they're here with us, and we're
indeed.
getting the training that they need or whatever. Okay.
Right,
So
right.
when you first started, about how many kids did you start off with, and how many do you have? What are you? How many students do you have now?
So it fluctuates because I won't say competing,
Right.
but we're up against football, basketball,
Right.
track. So
Right.
those are those same kids who may have a break in a sport that they don't play. Now
Right.
they come to us, right?
Okay.
So the numbers will fluctuate. I may
Okay.
have a season to where I'm averaging 15 kids a day.
Right.
Um, and then there may be a season like right now during the summertime.
Right.
You won't see many kids show up at all.
Gotcha.
Just because they're spending the night at grandma's house. They may have gone to another parent's house,
Right.
something to that effect. And then you have some kids who come in town and need a place to go.
Okay.
But that's a daytime. Um, that will be a daytime program. I'm
Right.
always in the afternoon.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no, you can keep going. Keep going.
What I would do for the summer, like currently, we have a 5 day band camp that we're doing from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. June
Mhm.
10th through the 14th, and then those kids will go and perform on the 15th at Forsyth Park.
All
Um,
right.
so we'll just do a 1 week camp in the evening, and then we'll do another 1 week camp in July, which will be a cultural historical tour around
Right.
Southeast Georgia.
Okay, then. Okay. And so, and you're doing all of this because I know you said earlier, you're getting off from work and you're coming straight to the program, and administering the program or whatever. So, are you still doing that now? It's like you get off from work. It's like, you go over here. And, yeah. Are you still working and getting off
It,
and
it,
going?
so I'll tell you that I probably, for you and me, I'm working at least 32 hours a week for the
Mhm.
organization,
Right.
right? More, I mean, going,
Right.
getting it. Of course, it's more than that because you have to move around, you have to network, you have to get things done of that nature to make
Hmm.
sure that the community sees your face. Um, so yes, to your question, but this is a pretty much a full-time movement.
Okay, then. All right. So, what are your plans for the future? Well, I'm gonna rewind and go back some. So you said you partnered with the city of Savannah and the mayor's office or whatever. What other I guess city partnerships or partnerships around Savannah do you have as far as uh, organizations that have come to help you out or just lend a helping hand to you and your group?
So currently, right now, we have two funding sources, which
Hmm.
is the Neighborhood Office of Safety and Engagement with the City of Savannah.
Hmm.
That's our largest funding source,
Hmm.
where we are here to support violence reduction in the City of Savannah.
Hmm.
So as long as we keep our program up and rolling, keeping up with our deliverables, we believe that that's a strong partnership that we would hold on to for quite some time.
Okay.
We're also partnered with Chatham County Commissioners,
The commission. Okay.
where, yes, where here, this is where we implement our juvenile justice reform component of UMA of Savannah. So
Okay.
when it comes to juvenile justice reform, our goal is to assist and work with Chatham County Juvenile Court. That's our
Okay.
main focus.
Okay.
And when we say Chatham County Juvenile Court, they have several young men and young ladies that are on probation, and they
Mhm.
just need a little guidance, right?
Right.
So they're out doing being negative because they have a negativity around it.
Right.
So we want to create that structure where now they have at least 8 hours a week of positive structure around them,
Right.
right? If we can show juvenile court, like, hey, we have these young people 8 hours a day, 8 hours a week, they're
Mhm.
performing in music, they're performing in film, they're
Right.
performing in their literacy studies. Now the court is more has more reason to give that young person a second chance, right?
Okay then. Okay.
So our goal is to go in. We have 7 slots that we afford juvenile court, and
Okay.
those 7 slots they could send any young person to us,
Mhm.
and we give them all the love and attention that we possibly can,
Mhm.
and we create a dynamic relationship with the parents as well.
Okay.
um, and we report to the probation officer how that young
Mhm.
person is doing.
Okay. Now, uh, with this partnership, I guess with the Chatham County Commissioners or whatever, uh, are you able to share any success stories of any students that have come through that particular part of the program and that have made you saw a significant change in their actions or whatever?
Indeed, man. Just recently, very proud of this moment.
Okay.
So this partnership started in January of
Right.
2024. We didn't start getting referrals until March of
Oh, wow.
2024.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then once the referrals started coming in, we got a young man who started in the beginning of April.
Hmm.
So the end of March, beginning of April, he started coming, ankle monitor,
Wow.
um, but he's being picked up
Hmm.
and being dropped off by his mom for
Hmm.
those four days a week.
Right.
So he may not wanted to play the music, but he didn't have a problem just coming to hang out with me, right?
Right.
And plus, I'm not teaching the music class
Right.
anyway, so he and I have
Gotcha.
an opportunity, right? So we have an opportunity to bond. So his court date was coming up. He continued to remind me, "Hey, brother Trey, my court date coming up. Can you go with me?"
Hmm.
I'm there. I'm there with you, brother.
Right.
So showed up to court. I was a little late. We showed up. They went to a recess because he had to take a urinalysis.
Hmm.
Um, and when we came back from recess, they gave me an opportunity to speak on his behalf.
Right.
Got up, spoke on his behalf. Um, but you could see his smile.
Right.
He had a different smile on his face, right?
Right.
As I was speaking, you
Right.
could tell he may not have had anybody speak on his behalf like that before. I don't know,
Right.
right? So got off the stand. About 2 to 5 minutes later, the judge says she's taking him off of probation. He's released. So
Right.
his ankle monitor came off.
Hmm.
He came off of probation 2 months early.
Hmm.
And I really, yeah, it's the part of that that he still failed on,
Right.
right?
Okay.
If you listen to what I said, he
Right.
failed somewhere.
Right.
But he was still able to get off even with
Right.
that, you know, and he's still coming around, man. He
That's
offered
good.
probation. So he don't have to come back to my class.
Right. Because
You
he's
see what
off
I'm saying?
probation. He's free.
Because
Right.
he offered probation, but he still come around. He
Right. So
still
he
make
might not. Is he participating in any programs or anything? Besides, I know he said he's not doing the music.
he really just want to come and kick it. Right now
Right.
we're trying to also convince him to get his GED, right?
Gotcha.
And if you have any listeners out there and that was kind of squeamish,
Right.
we have to be realistic.
Right.
right? And sometimes we have young people in our community that's just not gonna they're
Right.
not gonna put they're not gonna put forth the effort to go get a diploma.
Right.
So these individuals, you have to prepare them for a skill trade. We're
Mhm.
not telling them not to find success anywhere else. Hey, go find all the success you possibly can.
Right.
But you sir,
Right.
let's go ahead and get you this GED,
Right.
and let's find you a trade skill, right?
Right.
And we have to be honest with ourselves and be upfront about it, right? So that's what we're preparing him for right now, and we're also preparing him for Savannah Tech next.
Okay.
We're just trying to make sure we know which direction he wants to go,
Right.
but it may take a little minute. Again, we just met him at the end of March,
Right.
right? So, and he's still coming around. So, but let me finish with this. That
Okay.
same young man lives directly down the street from a young man I started mentoring with Frank Callen.
Mm-hmm.
So remember I told you back in 15, 16, I met Frank Callen, Boys and Girls
Yeah.
Club.
Yes, sir.
A young man that I was in the newspaper with because we had such a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He just came back home from Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and he and I just reconnected because of the young man I just got off of probation,
Oh
because they're
wow.
friends.
Wow.
Wouldn't have never known it. Just small world, man.
Right.
Right. So now that young man that I knew who was 13 at the time,
Mm-hmm.
13 or 14, he's now 21.
Right.
And I'm seeing him more often around town. So, I just built good relationships over time.
Okay then. Now, besides that, those particular stories, do you have any other, I guess, success stories of people who have matriculated through the program, possibly through other stories like from Frank Callen or from
So,
the beginnings
so
of the program?
well, I do. Of
Mhm.
course, I do. It's a lot to mention, and I definitely don't want to forget anybody. But I want to tell your listeners this: I have several success stories.
Mhm.
I have some troubling, excuse me, some troubling stories as well,
Okay.
of young people who have decided to play a character
Mhm.
that we have allowed as a community to be a part of our culture. There's a character
Mhm.
that we've allowed to take advantage of our young people mind and our minds, and that character is very flamboyant in our
Mhm.
community. And each one of those young men that I've seen play that character have all seen behind those concrete walls, right?
Mhm.
So I will tell you, if I've mentored 50 young men,
Mhm.
I've had at least 10, 15 get locked up
Right.
within these 6 years,
Right.
6 to 8 years. You see what I'm saying? So it was a character that each one of them portrayed.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's something that we was always trying to discourage.
Right.
Um, but the streets is real. See what I'm saying? So
I get it.
to the, now all of them still respect me, love me. We still have great relationships, but that's the honest truth. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So, yeah.
And I totally understand, man. I'm speaking for myself now. Growing up, I was raised right, but then I
Hmm.
will say the music does have a large influence to play on it. Yeah, the music, and this goes back to like I graduated from Savannah State, so uh, Chuck D came to Savannah State. Chuck D from Public Enemy.
Hmm.
He came down to Savannah State and he gave a lecture on music or whatever. And he broke down the music industry, basically saying, there's all these labels technically, but really when you break it down, there's only like three major record labels. It's like Sony, BMG, Warner, and Universal or something like that. And everything else is like a boutique label or just an umbrella, part of that. But then he goes on to say that basically, if we go back in our lives and go back to when we were in middle school, between like 6th and 12th grade, that's when we are influenced the most, and the record companies know that. And so the music
Hmm.
was like now is like when he was back in his prime, it's like there was a range of different genres of music. Like you can have your black power, but then you can have your gangster rap. it was well balanced. You know, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're, we have dual sides. We can be on this side one day and then be, peace and calm the
Right.
next day. So, but
Right.
if you
Right.
have, but it basically said that if you have if it's imbalanced, then you have all of this gangster rap coming out. That's all we're hearing. That's what, because we're so young at that time, sixth, seventh grade. That's when it develops in our heads. And so he was like, man, yeah, the music. If we change the music, you can really, or go back to when there was more of a balance. You will
Right.
see the people balance out, and
Right.
so and do you see that in like the music, the kids when they come in, the music that they're listening to? Are you trying to like, hey, let's call? Do you try to switch it up and might play something else or do something else to sort of get their mind out of that?
Man, so I wasn't. I was beating around the bush, but you
Right,
hit the nail on the head, right?
right.
So I have one of my favorite phrases right now was "See, Dolores Tucker was right." So you remember C. Dolores Tucker back
Yeah,
in the
did she
day?
take the steamroller or something and roll it over
Right, right,
right,
right, right, right,
yeah.
right, right. So, Tupac was talking crazy about Auntie. You
Right,
see what I'm saying?
right,
And because what Tupac was saying, we were saying the same thing,
right.
right? But now you see, we done changed a little bit.
Right. It's like, yeah.
Now that we've changed, our minds have changed. Now we can sit back and take accountability and be like,
Right.
hey man, we really had some foolishness being injected into our minds at
That's
such a
true.
young age. Like
Right.
if I go back and I listen to Date and Family, if I go back and I listen to Compton Most Wanted, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Those were some hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those songs was, hey man, you might get beat up this afternoon if I'm listening to this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I was ready to fight you,
Right.
just imagine what that spirit has done over time, over
Mhm.
25 years of what
Right.
we was listening to. It has now elevated to, I don't want to beat you up now. I just want to shoot you.
Right. That's true.
You see
That's
what
true.
I'm saying? And
Yes,
and
sir.
and I want to shoot you because my guns sound different.
Right. Right.
I want a bunch of bullets to hit you because I got a switch on it. It's not that
Right.
I'm trying to pow get you up off me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hit you with a bunch of bullets.
Right.
That's a different type of spirit among
Yeah.
us. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to continue to allow that to plague our young people, if it's going to continue to plague who we are
Mm-hmm.
as a culture, we up shit creek. Excuse my language.
No,
Hey,
you're cool. You cool. You cool. You
okay,
cool.
yeah, yeah, we in trouble, brother.
Right.
So and I can't help it. I still listen to it.
Right.
I can't. I also can't front. You get me in the car by myself. I'm driving for about 30 minutes. I done came up with a freestyle that is horrible. I'm saying something stupid.
Right.
A dope beat that came on in the car, man. I
Right.
done freestyle something ridiculous in the car
Right.
by myself
Right.
because it's a part of my DNA now.
Right. Gotcha.
You see
Gotcha.
what I'm saying? So if it's a part of my DNA, that young man who's 17 right now, listening to drill, listening to
Mm-hmm.
all kind of craziness,
Mm-hmm.
who is he going to be when he's 40 years
Right.
old? Yeah.
I get it. I get it. So when the guys come in initially, and then throughout the program, do you notice a softening? I don't know if softening is the correct word that I want to use, the proper word I want to use, but I guess, well,
They let
a change of heart or whatever. You can see the mask coming off or whatever. Like, hey, because you said
they let their guard down.
do you notice the mask coming off and like, man, this kid is really cool. He puts on the facade, but he just needs somebody to talk to him. Do you notice that a lot?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
they letting their guard down,
Right.
right? So okay, so here's one of my secrets.
Okay.
Food, man. As
So
long as
what?
I got some food, food. As long as I got some food,
Gotcha.
man. If I got some food, man, these kids
Right.
they ready to go.
I
It's
got you.
whatever, man. So we break bread together every meeting. My kids They all get a meal, right?
Right.
So shouts out to Kim's Cafe. If you saw me playing with my phone earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the owners. She actually was calling me because she was ready to deliver a meal today. So she donates Kim's Cafe donates meals to our program every Wednesday.
Oh wow.
Uh, so the kids eat good, man. They eat good
Okay.
over there. Yeah, shout out to Kim's Cafe, man.
Yeah, man, you can't go wrong with food.
Right. So, and every Monday and Friday, my kids get a huge bag of fruit. So they'll get apples, oranges, pears, peaches, plums,
Mm-hmm.
and that's me going over the red and white grocery store. They look out for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Red and white grocery store, and fill up with probably about $60 worth of fruit. And
Mm-hmm.
I split that up between the kids on Mondays and Fridays. So they always got snacks, healthy snacks at the house.
Right.
And then on our off days we eat pizza, man.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay
we we,
then.
ba- we balance it out pretty well.
Got you. Got you. All right.
Mhm.
So where do you see the group going within the next 5 or 10 years or so? Because it seems like you have a very strong strategic plan up until this far. So, and I know you got to have great things coming up for the future and great things planned.
Yes, sir. So right now our first goal is to ensure that we have a proper planning system for our capital fundraisers.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to move forward in any nonprofit until you have a capital fundraiser in place that is
Mm-hmm.
bringing in the bacon. Okay.
Right.
So that's just a message to nonprofit owners out there, or people who want to have nonprofits.
Right.
If you can't get a capital fundraiser going appropriately, that's annual.
Mm-hmm.
Don't jump out there in the water.
Okay.
So once we know that that's established, then our next goal is to get ourselves a building.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want to get ourselves our own building or outsource with another organization that
Mm-hmm.
has a building in place but not using it during those time frames, where we can house a out of school suspension
Mm-hmm.
program or a out of school program. Since COVID, our school system has lost between 39 and 45%, excuse me, about 39% of the students that were in school prior
Wow.
to COVID. They at the house, man.
They just quit
So
coming.
they quit coming.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of these schools, yeah, they about empty, brother.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So can I take a moment?
Yeah.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, so a lot of our kids are dropping out of school at a very high
Uh-huh.
rate. Because they know that they can actually go to school online at home.
Mm-hmm.
When mama's at work and dad's at work,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing my work because
Mm-hmm.
my parents aren't going to look at uh, the school board's official website for everybody to go on. Like it's called Power School
Right.
in Chatham County. My parents ain't looking at that, right? So by the time 11th and 12th grade come around, kid been quit school. You see what I'm saying? So, and when they come to middle school, a lot of them are the parents are homeschooling their kids because they can do it online.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay then.
So
That's
if
a
you, but you can create a space to where kids can now come and do their own schoolwork online, and you
mm-hmm.
just have you have a coach available
Mm-hmm.
that can assist each one of those kids individually.
Okay then. Okay.
So that will be our next step as far as a daytime organization.
Okay. So basically, instead of the kids being at home doing their work online, they can sort of kind of come to your building. They'll still be doing their online work, but they'll at least be in a communal space with other kids, and I guess get to build relationships or whatever. And then there's a tutor available if they so happen to need help. They can, hey, how do you do this? And they can get it done, get shown how to do it, and then be able to go on about their way. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
those are great plans, great plans, great plans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, and do you have I guess a timeline in your head on when you like to try to get this established? I know you're waiting on the capital funding, but I know in the back of your head there has to be. Is there a timeline like by this specific period I would like to have this done or whatever?
No, sir, not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
When I started this in 2016, I had no idea I would still be here doing it in 2024.
Right.
No idea. Right.
Okay.
I had no idea when I started getting funding how much funding I would get.
Right.
No idea.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I'm here now for that reason.
Okay.
When it's for me, it's for me. And I believe in my higher power.
Right.
And I believe that I'm doing his will.
Right.
So whatever is for me, if I've already thought it,
mm-hmm.
and I've already envisioned it,
right,
and I've already written it
and
down, I've already spoken it,
mm-hmm.
it's coming.
So
I'm just in. I'm in.
Right.
And guess what? And if I have to quit tomorrow for whatever reason,
mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that too.
Okay, then. So basically, you put it out there in the universe, and you got faith that it's gonna come, faith and belief that it's gonna happen. So you're just gonna let it just do its thing, and you ain't gonna mess with it, right?
I already. That's right. I've already asked for it. I asked for it. Right. I know what I want. What I want. I already have a budget in place.
Right.
So I wrote it. Right. And when I get around the right people, I speak it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I got you.
So those three things is in his divine name.
Got you. All right. Well, Brother Trey, man, I thank you for coming on. And to everyone that's watching the podcast or whatever, the links to Urban Mentoring Academy and their website, and also information on where you can make a donation to their programs or whatever. All of that's going to be in the description box. Also, Brother Trey, if you have any shout outs, because I know you have several community partners. I know you named the Kims and then Red and White as well, and then Chatham County Commissioner's Office. Any other partnerships and sponsors, people that help out, teachers that help out with the programs, if you want to mention them. And I know you might. I don't want you to forget anyone, but it's, just try to mention as many as you can possibly name, just to give everyone a shout out that keeps the program going.
So thank you very much once again. I want to give a huge shout out to my board of directors, Sister Torian, Brother Dion, Brother Elliot, Sister Portia, Brother Chris. Thank you so very much for everything that you do. Sister Shavonda, my band and film instructor. Sister Zelanya, my literacy instructor. My brother, my partner, my ace, Brother Kwame. I love you, champion. Brother Alex, another one of my music instructors. To all of my parents, thank you so very much. Shouts out to the city of Savannah, the recreation department, the one's office, Chatham County, juvenile court, Savannah Drive Line.
All right.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, man.
I got you. It's a lot of things that have to come together. It's like forming like Voltron. You got a lot of parts that come together to make this thing run.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. I was going to start forgetting, but it's a lot of folks who I'm very thankful for. Thank you to everybody who contributes to our organization. Okay. Dr. Brenda Roberts. Man, salute to that lady. She's amazing.
All right. Well, thank you, Trey, for coming on. I appreciate you for, I guess, accepting the invitation or whatever, and for enlightening my audience as far as like what the Urban Mentoring Academy is doing down in Savannah, the great things that you guys are doing. And I look forward to hearing even greater things and hearing, hopefully a couple of years from now, I can reach back out to you and then hear even more success stories of like kids who have gone through the program and have matriculated and have come back to say, you know what, I learned the skill, and I learned this skill based upon what you taught me, going through the program, and now I want to come back and teach it to other students. So that's the part that I look forward to hearing from you guys, like the guys that are matriculated to come back and that now they want to teach and help out and just continue the legacy that you and your board of directors and your team have created for Savannah, or whatever. But yeah,
hey man, I'm waiting on it too. Let me say this. I do have a couple young men who have gone through the program. They're now adults and working. Brother Zane Hosley. Zane will come and give a financial donation to the program just because he sees us doing something. Brother Chris Hunter, he now works for Gulfstream.
Oh wow.
Zane he drives 18-wheeler, CDL driver.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Hunter is at Georgia Port Authority. He's always showing love. Him and all of his siblings came through the program. And Ronald Bryant, I gave him his first trombone. He graduated from Savannah State in the band with that trombone, right?
Wow.
So when you talk about somebody who has to come back, I'm calling out Ronald Bryant. That gentleman. That's my boy, right? And he's doing great things right now as well. So I do have some great young men who still show love, still wear their paraphernalia, their shirts and so forth.
Right.
We've done an amazing job over the past 8 years, excuse me.
All right. And I'm glad to hear that. And once again, I would like to congratulate you and give you kudos myself, man, because, yeah. You got me. I get inspired by stuff like this. I hear it, and it's like, wow, man, it just lights a fire into me or whatever. Like, yeah, we all can be doing more to help our communities, and no matter where we're from, man, and try to inspire the youth of today or whatever, and try to keep them out the streets. But yeah, you're doing phenomenal work, and once again, thank you for coming on. And
indeed, brother, thank you.
Podcast. This is Dwayne here with Brother Trey Singleton of the Urban Mentoring Academy of Savannah. And thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Good night.
All right.